Take a look at this video. This is a 7-year-old video of a girl talking about being 21 and having absolutely no friends. It has nearly 7 million views. Then there's this other video. Notice any similarities between them? Well, they're straightforward videos where the creator is talking straight to the camera, sharing their thoughts and feelings. The editing is practically non-existent, and the concept itself is simple. It's something you can comfortably call a raw video. Under the modern rules of YouTube, these videos shouldn't be working. For the last decade, the platform trained audiences to expect pure spectacle, leading creators to build massive studios, hire dedicated teams, and optimize every single frame for attention. The industry standard became a highly engineered broadcasting network where maximum production value was the absolute baseline for entry. However, the heavy infrastructure creators built to guarantee success introduced hidden friction, and it's currently burning out the exact people running it. While the architect of these production empires hit a creative wall, the audience is doing something completely unexpected by actively rejecting the polish. Viewers are deliberately scrolling past million-dollar productions just to watch raw, unfiltered webcam footage. In the relentless pursuit of the perfect video, the creator economy accidentally forced the entire platform backward, recreating the exact landscape of 2005. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how this hidden friction caused the biggest channels to collapse and later come back to life again. To truly understand how the platform reached its current breaking point, we have to examine the creators who built the most successful models. Matt D'Avella serves as the perfect case study because he executed the established creator playbook flawlessly. When he launched his channel in 2017, the platform was undergoing a major transition. The recommendation system started heavily favoring watch time and high production value, aggressively moving away from the era of casually recorded vlogs. Because Matt was already an Emmy-nominated filmmaker, he entered this highly competitive environment with a distinct advantage. However, he was also carrying $97,000 in student debt and working freelance from his parents' home. Therefore, he possessed the very real, intense financial incentive to make the channel succeed as fast as possible. He found his footing by introducing a highly specific, repeatable format to the platform, the cinematic 30-day challenge. From an analytical perspective, this format functioned as an incredibly powerful retention engine. A 30-day challenge inherently creates an open loop in the viewer's mind. The audience clicks on the video to see the final result, which naturally encourages them to watch through the entire process to get the payoff. Combining that built-in psychological trigger with Matt's background resulted in a channel that perfectly satisfied every metric the platform demanded. His videos looked like premium documentaries, and the audience rewarded that level of polish, allowing him to rapidly scale his channel to over 4 million subscribers across more than 460 uploads. But building a massive audience was only the first step in the established creator playbook. The prevailing industry wisdom of the era dictated that relying solely on ad revenue was a massive operational risk because the algorithm could change at any moment and wipe out a channel's primary income overnight. Therefore, the standard procedure was to diversify, and Matt followed this by transforming his main channel into a central hub that funneled viewers into multiple separate business ventures. He launched a podcast called The Ground Up Show to capture the audio-only market and secure completely separate sponsorship inventory. He capitalized on the massive demand for online education by creating the Slow Growth Academy, offering premium courses like Simple Habits and Master YouTube to directly monetize the expertise he demonstrated in his free videos. But to sustain this massive operational footprint, he had to hire a team. The sheer workload of shooting, editing, managing sponsors, recording podcasts, and running an educational platform was impossible for one person to maintain. By building a production team, Matt successfully transitioned from a solo creator into the chief executive officer of a diversified media company. The system functioned perfectly, generating consistent views and predictable income, meaning he'd achieved exactly what every aspiring creator was told to build. However, the transition from solo creator to business operator completely changes the fundamental math of a YouTube channel. Scaling requires buying expensive gear, expensive subscriptions, and most importantly, taking on payroll. As a result, the channel becomes a financial engine with massive fixed costs that must be paid every single month, regardless of how the algorithm behaves. Industry experts spent years pitching the concept of leverage, promising that hiring a team to handle editing and sponsorships would allow creators to buy back their time to focus on big creative swings. In reality, this infrastructure creates an entirely new problem. Managing a team requires daily oversight, constant meetings, and endless administrative work, forcing creators to spend their days reviewing rough cuts and acting as human resource managers instead of brainstorming innovative formats. This intense pressure of massive monthly overhead trickles down directly into the creative process. When a business relies entirely on the next upload to make payroll, taking an artistic risk becomes a dangerous financial liability. Because an experimental video that flops means lost ad revenue and less sponsorship opportunities, the production pipeline becomes completely risk-averse. Therefore, video ideas are vetted strictly for their return on investment rather than their storytelling potential. Since you can't simply force unpredictable creative energy into a rigid corporate workflow, the production machines ran flawlessly while the videos coming out of them felt completely hollow. This became Matt's reality. On paper, his diversified media company was thriving and hitting every metric for success. But behind the camera, the relentless demand to feed multiple revenue streams turned his creative process into an administrative chore. The content machinery required constant fuel, and the strain of managing employees while producing high-stakes videos started wearing him down. Despite his team being highly competent and the business structurally sound, Matt found the day-to-day reality of running the business model completely suffocating. The massive infrastructure designed to protect his creativity was actively killing it. To get the spark back, he chose to dismantle the machine by downsizing his operations, letting go of the heavy corporate structure, and walking away from the constant pressure of feeding this ecosystem. By voluntarily dropping his team to focus on the craft, Matt broke a long-standing rule of the creator economy. The platform has always treated constant growth as the only acceptable direction, viewing any attempt to scale down as a failure. The industry sells the idea that managing a massive company is the ultimate goal. Matt's decision to walk away proved that maximizing revenue doesn't equal creative fulfillment, and that the real luxury is simply having the freedom to create on your own terms. And viewers immediately sensed when the highly engineered videos dominating the platform started to lack substance. YouTube spent years pushing a constant cycle of spectacle, requiring instant hooks and rapid-fire editing just to keep viewers around. While channel production budgets grew to rival cable television, the audience eventually went numb. The hyper-optimized editing tricks designed to keep them engaged stopped feeling entertaining and simply started feeling normal. It became surprisingly easy to recognize established formulas and understand exactly when a hook is supposed to manipulate your curiosity. Check out this video. Notice how the premise is forced onto you immediately. The screen cycles through rapid cuts, heavy sound effects, and artificial tension before you can even process the video title. Every second is engineered strictly to hold your attention. As this hyper-optimized format saturated the platform, the perfect packaging that once guaranteed clicks began to signal a lack of authenticity. The polished production and predictable narrative arcs simply felt hollow. Once YouTube morphed into something akin to a giant television network, viewers realized they missed the raw human connection that made internet videos special in the first place. This massive shift in viewer preference materialized gradually in the data through millions of individual clicks and watch time metrics. The algorithm simply acts as a mirror reflecting audience behavior, so when audiences started clicking away from heavily edited content and settling into slower formats, the recommendation engine adjusted its inventory. The system began surfacing videos that defied every modern rule of platform growth, bringing an entire niche of channels to the forefront and making the landscape look remarkably similar to the YouTube of 2005. It was a widespread return to the webcam era where the premise was incredibly simple. People were putting a camera on their face and simply talking. They abandoned the flashy edits in favor of sharing a raw experience or a viewpoint. Viewers rushed in to watch these formats because they provided an outlet for people who wanted to feel connected again, leading to statistically baffling examples of success. The Zerky Show managed to pull in over 450,000 views on a video despite having a subscriber base of just over 97,000. Even older channels, like Broke the Interweb, saw videos from 16 years ago generating massive renewed interest. These videos pulled in hundreds of thousands of views simply because they possessed an unpolished, era-specific authenticity that could no longer be replicated in modern studios. What Matt felt as a creator was a profound fatigue with the corporate reality of YouTube, and that exact sentiment was mirrored perfectly by the viewers. Similar to creators wanting to strip away the overhead, viewers started actively seeking out authentic content because they wanted a reminder that there was an actual person sitting behind the screen. This shift explains why the old diary entry and the quiet neurosurgeon video gained millions of views. For a decade, the creator economy operated on the assumption that bigger budgets and faster editing automatically equaled better videos. But in the ruthless race to optimize every single frame for attention, the industry accidentally optimized the humanity right out of its content. As artificial intelligence makes it easier to generate highly structured scripts and capable voiceovers, standard production polish is becoming a cheap commodity. Viewers easily recognize when a clean presentation hides empty content, and because of this, the elements a machine can't replicate, the awkward pauses, the unscripted tangents, and the raw delivery, are now a creator's most valuable assets. This brings us right back to those unpolished videos. The neurosurgeon and the young girl didn't go viral despite their lack of production value, they went viral because of it. They offered the exact thing audiences are desperately craving today. A reminder that there's an actual, flawed person sitting behind the screen. To survive this new era of YouTube, creators should look at abandoning their heavy corporate infrastructure that's almost turned into a liability these days. The future of the platform belongs to those who are brave enough to simply be human again. Anyways guys, we're just a new and growing channel, so we would appreciate any constructive criticism in the comments section below. And also let us know what type of channels in this vein have been popping up for you, and if you've been drawn to click on them. I'd love to hear everybody's experiences about the YouTube platform in 2026, so please leave it in the comment section below. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching, and stay curious.